The northernmost part of the Lancaster Canal has been dewatered since the 1960s. We now take a journey along this 6-mile section of the canal from the hamlet of Stainton to the town of Kendal. Construction on the Lancaster Canal was started in 1792, being surveyed by John Rennie. Despite financial problems, it was completed by 1826 with a branch to Glasson Dock. It was used for transporting limestone and coal and many other goods. Passenger boats were also popular, which took about 8 hours to complete from Kendal to Preston. Due to the competition from railways and eventually roads, canal traffic to Kendal ceased in 1944. The stretch from Kendal to the hamlet of Stainton was eventually dewatered, having suffered great losses of water through seepage into the porous limestone over which the canal was built. Work started in 2017 to reopen a small section of the canal at Stainton. Clear the old canal bed, reline it, and then fill it with water. 2 years on, in 2020, we see water in this reclaimed section for the first time in 60 years. By placing a pressure pump in a small stream, the water is then siphoned through this blue hose to refill the canal. Our continuing journey now takes us towards the A590 and Lancaster Tunnel. Just before the Lancaster Tunnel, the canal is split by the A590. A good aerial view shows the route of the canal before the A590 was constructed. The tunnel is 380 yards long and is the only tunnel on the canal. It was built to take barges close to the Sedgwick's gunpowder works. There is no towpath through the tunnel, so barges were hauled through by a rope fixed on the side of the wall, or were legged by the boatmen by pushing against the wall with their feet. The horses were taken over the tunnel on a footpath, which is now used by walkers. The footpath has a status of an ancient monument, and the tunnel portals are listed building. The building at the western portal is a typical stable for horses, used on the packet boat service between Preston and Kendal. The horses were changed every 5 miles. On the western side of the tunnel, the canal overlooks the woods of Levens Park and the Kent Valley. The canal is then cut again by the A590. Walkers now have to leave the canal and follow a minor road for 800 metres until it crosses a bridge over the road and through a stile to follow the course of the canal via footpaths to Hawes Bridge. This part of the canal was incorporated into the adjacent fields. From Hawes Bridge, the canal reappears and can be followed to the Sedgwick Aqueduct, an ancient monument which towers over the village. The line of the canal through Sedgwick was to serve the Wakefield gunpowder works just on the edge of the village. The Sedgwick Aqueduct is now a Grade 2 listed monument and took the canal over the road that runs through the village. The Sedgwick Gunpowder Works, now a caravan park on the edge of the village, produce gunpowder for the civilian market rather than the military. Many of the buildings can still be seen, although listed buildings they are now in ruins. Gunpowder was taken to the canal for transportation. From the aqueduct 250 metres further along the canal, it again is obstructed by farmland. Follow the line of the hedgerow and the fence for 600 metres to a kissing gate. Follow the path to a bridge which stands isolated in the middle of the field. The canal reappears as it goes through a wood to reach Larkridge Hall Bridge. Further on, beyond Crow Park Bridge, the canal has been filled to a level of the surrounding farmland and cannot be seen again for the rest of its way to Kendal. However, some bridges and towpaths are still in evidence. The canal between Natland Road and Canal Head at Kendal, the termination of the Lancaster Canal, and where the council have a recycling depot, is further complicated by back gardens reclaiming the bed of the canal, block bridges and roads dissecting the route of its passage. One of the more interesting bridges on this section is a good example of an exchange bridge. Here the horses pulling the barge used to leave the towpath using a ramp to cross over the bridge to emerge on the opposite side of the canal to regain the footpath. From Change Bridge, the canal is still visible in part, but factories have taken some of the land close to the termination at Canal Head. Canal Head Basin, now used as a council recycling depot, was the final destination of the Lancaster Canal. 50 metres from the recycling depot, the canal manager's house still remains and is occupied. The ticket office also remains with a Kendal Society plaque on its wall. These photographs show an example of what it looked like back in its heyday. Barges and narrowboats loading and unloading vital goods that had been transported to and from major ports and cities along its route. I do hope that you have enjoyed this 6-mile nostalgic journey from the quiet hamlet of Stainton to the bustling town of Kendal along the lost canal.